Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Canicrossers sometimes don't make things easy for people who are just getting into the sport with all the terminology. But don't worry, today we're going to fix that and we are going to do some Canicross jargon busting. So let's start at the top. A is for Ashridge, this beautiful place where we are running this morning. It's a very large National Trust estate with some beautiful trails, but it is also home to a very large Canicross club and the oldest and the first Canicross club that was set up in the UK. Regularly getting 50 people on a Saturday coming along to Canicross. If you're in the Herts, Beds, Bucks region, then definitely come down and check it out. B for bungee. This is a slangy term used by Canicrossers for the lead that goes between you and the dog. It is elasticated and stretches. It is made out of bungee. B is also for belt, another important piece of kit. Belt, sometimes mistakenly called harness, is what you wear around your hips to attach the bungee line to. B is also for bike jaw, not Canicross, but very similar, where you attach your dog to your mountain bike and away you go. If you want to see me and Dizzy having a go at it, then check out our video. B is also for BSSF. This is the British Sled Dog Sports Federation, and it is the closest thing we have to a national governing body in the UK. They organise all of our national championship events, and as we push closer to becoming an official sport, they will be the ones who will be in charge of regulating that sport. It's also a slang term for the national championships. If someone says, are you doing BSSF this year? They're asking if you're going to compete in the national championships. C is for course markers. If you want to find out more about this, we have an amazing video on all things racing on the channel. But basically there's all different types of course marker. Everything from arrows to coloured discs that help you navigate the course with various different meanings. So you've got to know yours so you can get around that course. Tied quite closely to that, C is also for category. All racing in Canicross is done in categories, which is brilliant, as it means you're often competing against people who are reasonably similar. You're competing in age and gender, and it means they're all as important as each other. There is no elite category, which is pretty cool. They all have their own little codes that you had to get used to, which brings me on to my next one. D is for dry land. Canicross is what we call a dry land sport. Basically it means we are not competing on snow, and when you go to an event you will often see your category start with DC, dry land Canicross, then either M, men, W, women, and then either M40, W40, M50, sometimes V40, if you're in age group categories. So that is what that little code means, which often confuses people. D is also for directions. This is something that can be confusing. Me and Dizzy use plain old left and right. Although, some people, if you're going traditional, we'll use G and HOR for left and right. We don't do that, as I have no chance of remembering which one is which when I am on the limit running. But there's no right or wrong way of doing it. You pick your direction, you either pick left or right or G or HOR, and you stick with it and teach your dog it. D is also for Dalmatian. Could there be a finer dog to run with? Not round here, there isn't. E is for event. This is basically a race. Although the vast majority of Canicross races are spread over 2 days with multiple different types of races. So there's sometimes long course, sometimes short courses. You race on a Saturday and you race on a Sunday, somewhere between 2 and 5 kilometers. They are brilliant places, not just to race, but to meet up and hang out with Canicross friends from all over the country. Unless you meet up on the weekend, usually on the Friday night, race away, socialise away, so you get your results on the Sunday. And the whole thing is the event. F is for free run. That's what we're doing now. This is just running the dog with no Canicross equipment, no bungee, no line, no harness. It is a great way to train in the summer, to keep base fitness going for both you and the dog. Check out a few more thoughts on free running in our summer running tips that came out a couple of weeks ago. F is also for finish. This is where you want to be getting your sprint going. Dizzy absolutely loves a sprint finish. Even managed to get us a podium spot last season with one of them. It's also the bit where you can collapse on the floor in total awe of what your dog is just taking you to. G is for Greyster. I had no idea what a Greyster was till I started racing Canicross. Now I've got one. You will see plenty of these types of dogs, often sometimes called hounds, and a slightly different variation of the Euro hound is also out there, but you'll see loads of these types of dogs at races, at events. They are purpose bred to be Canicross superstars. And if you want to check out the progress of my own little Canicross superstar in the making, Peggy, who is a Greyster, then check out her episodes, her series of how we're taking her from being tiny puppy all the way through to her first races. H is for harness. This is the most important piece of kit in your arsenal as a Canicrosser. It is what the dog wears to pull you. There are all manner of shapes and sizes of harness. There is no best one. The best one is the one that fits your dog right. I would always recommend getting along to a club, trying a few different harnesses to see which one works. And remember, sizing your harness and how it fits and how you adjust it changes throughout the season. I is for ICF and IFSS. The ICF is the International Canicross Federation. IFSS is the International Federation for Sled Dog Sports. That's how you test whether your run is too hard or not. Talk about conversational pace, try saying that over and over again. These, like the BSSF, are governing bodies for the sports, except they are international, and they are the ones who govern European and World Championships. Slight difference between the two of them. The ICF is more based around people running with one dog, whereas the IFSS has more events available for those running teams of dogs. J is for juniors. This is a category for young people to be running in the sport. It comes in various incarnations depending on your age. If you're slightly older, under 17, it's you and the dog, just like the adults. And then as you get younger and work your way down, or if you're Benjamin Button, I suppose you work your way down. I'm working my way down. You obviously work your way up. But when you're younger, you start with an adult and you are both attached to the dog. It is absolutely brilliant to see all you youngsters getting out there and involved in the sport. I absolutely love watching you all fly around with your dogs. K is for kit. This is just a slangy term for all three of the most important items that make you a Canicrosser. That harness, that belt, and that line. Which brings me on to another one. L is for line. This is the term used for the bungee lead that goes between you and the dog. L is also for line out, which is what we get the dog to do at the start of a race, so that you are ready and the dog isn't jumping all over the place. It's focused, poised, and ready for you to say the magic go word. Here we go, we're getting right into it now. M, mushers, marshals, and mass start. Mushers is a term for anyone who is piloting their dog on the trails, whether that be running, on a bike, on a scooter, on a rig. At Double M, you get a mushers meeting sometimes. We had one of them up in Yorkshire as they were about to cancel a race. Marshals, one of the most important bits of the event. They make sure you are all safe on the course. Some events you go to, particularly national championship ones, you will be required to marshal. Everyone marshals each other in a real nice community fashion. Mass start. You don't get an awful lot of these in Canicross. People aren't a massive fan of them. They can be a very highly charged environment, but when done right, like on that beach, they are absolutely epic. Dizzy loves them. It just means racing. He has an excellent temperament, cool as a cucumber on the start line, and it means he gets some nice close and personal racing. N is for no right of way. This is a sign you often see at the end of races, somewhere inside the last kilometre. It means that the team ahead of you does not have to give way. They are winding up for their sprint finish. It is all fair game and racing. Which leads on to O, overtake. The most important manoeuvre that you will learn as a canicrosser. How to overtake safely and be overtaken safely. There's quite strict rules on what is acceptable, so I would definitely recommend checking out our race video again for some tips on what is expected of you with the overtake. P is for podium. This is where we all want to be. Me and Dizzy were lucky enough to get on there a handful of times last season. We're going to be going for more again this year. Q is for Q. Although we don't really call it a queue, we call it forming up. This is where, when we've got individual starts and you have an individual start time, you are asked to get yourselves in order a few minutes before your start. Again, can be quite a charged environment. Lots of dogs very excited, very close together. So it's always worth working out how forming up is going to work out for your dog. There are always things organisers can do to make sure that you are comfortable, whether that is having someone queue for you and sit out until the last minute, or whether that's even facilitating a start before everyone else. R for registration, important part of the event where you go and collect your race bib. There's loads of different ways of doing this at each event company, so again, check out the video for some advice on how registering at the event works. R is also for rehydration. Really important, whether you're running summer or winter, to rehydrate your dog after they've had a hard race. R is also for rig. This is the term for those absolute, I don't know what the word is. Oh, I do know a few words for it. But those individuals who want to stand on what looks like a B&Q flatbed trolley and attach anywhere between 2 and 8 dogs to that trolley and fly off into the woods. If you get a chance to see them rig racing, it is pretty epic. Not for me yet. I'm quite happy running. S is for scooter. Another variation on the sport, a kind of hybrid between bike jaw and rigs. Me and Dizzy had a go at it. If you want to check out how we got on, have a look at the video. S is for season. In Canicross terms, that is, for us in Europe or the Northern Hemisphere, running from September to May. It crosses over an annual year, so we are just about to come into the 24-25 season. Stakeout. Here's one that you see often in race packs. Stakeout. This is in the camping area. It is actually sometimes a terminology for the camping area, although really the stakeout line is something you hammer into the ground to accommodate your dogs outside during the day, so they can chill out. Particularly the Huskies absolutely love a stakeout line, and they are attached to the line, so obviously they cannot escape. Getting close now. T is for team. This just refers to your personal team, whether that is you and your dog, or whether that is you and the 40 dogs that you own and are bringing to an event. And your team can be whatever you want to make it. T is also for TDM and TSB. These are two events in Europe. Do not get them confused, otherwise you will find yourself running up huge hills when you do not want to. TDM, Tour de Montagne, in the French Alps, is an 8-stage mountain race. TSB, Tour de something else, is not a mountain stage, but it is still about 8 stages over 8 days. Both incredibly fun, apparently, and open to all. Me and Dizzy would definitely have a go at one of them one year. Perhaps, and Peggy's on the scene to take on the fast stuff, and Dizzy's looking for other challenges. Speaking of other challenges, U is for Ultra Cani Trail. This is the UK's first, and I think still only, Canicross ultra marathon in the Welsh mountains, if you call them mountains. If you're going up them, I think they are. V is for vet check. This is 2-stage. It either means what you want to do before you start running, get your dog checked over by a vet to check they're all right to run, or it is also a process of an event whereby you go and get your dog checked by the vet. They check everything from microchips to health, and it is a necessary stage to competing. W is for Wrangler. These are people who will help you out at the start with your dog or dogs. Usually you see this in the wheels, and particularly the rigs where they've got so many dogs that need holding on the start line. Wranglers are really important, although some Canicrosses with big strong dogs also need Wranglers. X is for extreme. This is the category for people running with 2 dogs at a lot of events, so you call it the extreme category. So if you see extreme, that's your category. It means you are running 2 dogs. Y is for YouTube. If you are new around here, then why not consider smashing the subscribe button, hitting the like button, so you can see all about the things that me and Dizzy get up to over the summer and into the season, and then start catching up with Peggy as well. And then we are nearly there, finally. Z, I'm going to shout it out to my Ashford friend. Z is for zombies. This is the group that walks their 5k every week, showing that Canicross is for absolutely everyone, no matter your level of running fitness. I know some of the other clubs, Canicross Midlands, call them the Team Sloth. Everyone's got that group. The Run Walk 5k, just with your dog, just getting out there, enjoying it with each other and other people's company. It is absolutely brilliant. It is not for everyone running sub 15-minute 5ks with Greysters. It is for old dogs, young dogs, reactive humans, and it is absolutely brilliant to see. There is some Canicross jargon busted. If you've got any other ones that I've missed out, then make sure you smash them down in the comments. If I've missed out an absolute host, we will do another round of it. If you want to see that, then let us know. But until next time, me and Dizzy will see you on the next one.